Welcome back to Bike Matters. Today we're looking at a surprisingly good budget option from China. It's a sporty little number. It's the Sinnis GPX 125. The engine in here is a 125cc liquid-cooled 4-stroke, and we're starting to see that some of these Chinese bikes are having to switch over to liquid-cooled engines now, and that's mostly down to the Euro 5 regulations coming into play. It puts out 12.7 horsepower, so it's a shade under the maximum allowance for a CBT holder, but it's still pretty respectable. When it comes to style, I think you can see the GPX 125 looks pretty darn good. We've got a traditional sport bike design going on. It's quite large and substantial as well. I've got a full license, so I don't need to use the L plates, and when I'm riding around this, people think I'm on a big bike. I get a lot of waves from other riders, etc. It just doesn't even look like a 125. It looks excellent. Now, when it comes to the colorways, you've got two options, and if you're a fan of bright colors, you're out of luck, because we've got the carbon black here, and it also comes in ultimate gray. I actually am a fan of the carbon black here though, and I love a lot of the details that they've put into this bike. We've got this nice cyan here that really pops out of the black. We've got little gold paint finish on the forks. We've got it on the rear set, on the pegs here. We've got a little free piston caliper finished in red. Just subtle details that make the bike look more premium than it really is. And one final word, I'm a big fan of this tail end. It's nice and sharp. Again, it just fits with that sport bike vibe. If you could put a tail tidy on there, it'll look fantastic. Tech features, pretty easy on this one. There aren't many. We've got LED lighting, we've got a nice clear digital display, didn't have any problems with glare or anything like that. The speedo is nice and large. I like to be able to just glance down and see exactly where I'm at, and that's what you can do on here. We've got a clear fuel gauge indicator, we've got a gear indicator, we've got a nice RPM meter across the top, and that comes in handy when you're riding this bike, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The switchgear is also surprising because, again, this is a budget Chinese model, and I've actually ridden premium models which have flimsier feeling switchgear than this does. So the switchgear is pretty good here. It all feels nice and intuitive, pretty substantial. I'm happy with that. Got a nice big 12-litre tank here, which is great for a 125. Sinnis reckon you can get about 248 miles out of it. I'm not sure if it'll quite reach that because this bike does like to chase red lines. You won't always be riding it as conservatively as possible, but we filled it up, rode it all day long, and we still had 2 bars left. So the fuel economy is definitely good. I reckon in the region of 200 miles on a tank. We've got a 276mm wavy disc on the front with a free piston caliper, but that's down to the fact that this bike uses a combined braking system. We'll get back to that in a second. On the rear, we've got a 220mm wavy disc with a single piston. Now, the brakes feel pretty good on this bike. As I said, it doesn't have ABS, it uses a combined braking system, and that just means that when you apply the rear brake, it automatically includes a little bit of the front, and the front still functions individually as you'd expect. As soon as you start to squeeze the brakes, they respond immediately, they get you slowed down in nice good time. Confidence inspiring. I was pretty happy here. For suspension, we've got a 48mm upside down telescopic fork on the front and a regular old monoshock on the back. There's no adjustability here, but what do you expect from a budget option at this price point? And again, the suspension feels pretty good. We're in Norfolk, we've got lots of roads with less than ideal road surfaces, shall we say, a bit bumpy, and I didn't really get any big whacks or anything like that. It absorbed them all pretty nicely, and it still felt pretty planted when you take the corners, which is one of this bike's strong points. So when it comes to suspension, again, especially at this price point, I was very happy. Oh, I didn't see you there. I just want to do a quick shout out to Lexham Insurance, who power Bike Matters. They make it possible for us to make our videos, and if you're based in the UK and looking for some insurance, click the button that's going to appear on screen. You could save up to 20 quid. We get to keep making content, you save some money, everyone's a winner. As you can see, the GPX 125 is a pretty large bike for a 125, and that has pros and cons. The seat height is 816mm, so it's quite high. I'm average height, around 5'10", and I can just about flat foot it. Still feels okay, but if you're a shorter rider, you definitely want to have a sit on these and see how it feels. But if you're a taller rider, it's probably going to be okay as well. I think Felix is 6 foot, and he found it pretty comfortable as well, although he did have to lean over a bit more than I do. When it comes to the riding position, the trend these days, especially with a lot of its peers, is to raise the bars up a bit more, have it a little bit more relaxed and a bit more comfortable for everyday riding. But Sinnis have gone the kind of opposite route. They're going for a much more traditional kind of super sport vibe with this bike. The seat is up high, the bars are down low. It's a much more focused position, and depending on what you're looking for, that could be a positive or a negative. But what they have done feels really good for this style of bike. The downside of how large this bike is a little bit on the heavy side. It weighs in at 158 kilos with a full tank of petrol. To put that into perspective, the SMR we've got in here at the moment from Sinnis is nearly 20 kilos lighter with a little bit more horsepower too. And if you want a like-for-like comparison, one of the more premium bikes, the Yamaha R125, that's 18 kilos less than this with 2 extra horsepower too. And you do feel that power to weight ratio play a part in the acceleration, especially at the low end. However, it doesn't really affect the top speed. This bike can hit 74 miles per hour, no problem. It will hit the limiter there, so you can't go any faster even if you wanted to. But it does mean that dual carriageway cruising is nice and comfortable, especially with the excellent aerodynamics this bike has. And speaking of the aerodynamics, Sinnis have done a really good job here. It is a fully faired bike, so you expect the wind resistance to be good, but it's actually outstanding. Even when you're riding at full speed, 70 miles an hour on a dual carriageway, you can barely feel anything, especially in that full tuck position. And that is made even more comfortable by the great job they've done with the ergonomics themselves. You can see here they've kind of padded out the tank with these plastic parts, and it just makes it a bit more substantial, a bit more comfortable. You can kind of lay across the tank a little bit. You can grip the bike very well with your legs, even with your elbows when you're in the full tuck. And when you're riding like that, you feel almost no wind whatsoever. So as long as you're happy with the sport bike riding position, that kind of aggressive style, it's extremely comfortable as far as that type of bike goes. As I've mentioned throughout this review, this is a budget bike, so one of its key strengths here is the initial price. Brand new, it starts at £3,499. So again, compared to some of the more premium sport bikes on the market in this category, it's looking at £1.5 grand cheaper. So the power to weight ratio might not quite match up with those bikes, but the top speed is there and it's still a lot of fun to ride for a lot less money. So that's a big strength when it comes to this GPX 125. So one of the most interesting things about this bike is just the way it rides. I feel like it offers a really authentic super sport experience. It's almost like the perfect introduction to that kind of bike. I mentioned before, it's a little bit more aggressive than some of its peers, a little bit more focused. And the interesting thing is it rides the same way the 600 Super Sports like to be ridden as well. You want to chase those red lines, and it really encourages you to learn the best places and where this motorcycle likes to be, which is a good thing. When I first got on it, I noticed straight away it's a 6-speed gearbox, and the first 2 gears especially are quite short and close together. For example, the first gear will redline at around 17 miles per hour, and the second gear will redline at about 21 miles per hour, so almost no difference. It meant that when I was testing this 0 to 60, I hit that red line in first, changed gear, and was immediately at the limiter, which kind of gets you locked in position in the second gear. Now, that is not at all a criticism. It just means I needed to learn how to operate this bike better. And as the more time I spent with the bike, the more I enjoyed it. And I think that's a big plus. I mentioned earlier we've got that nice clear RPM gauge, and it does encourage you to look at the RPMs, see where this bike likes to be, and learn how to ride it optimally. And that can be a ton of fun. And it's almost the perfect introduction to riding a super sport style bike. So again, if you want a more relaxed offering, this might not be for you, but if you really do like the idea of getting into a super sport style bike, you like the riding position and the way it likes to ride and learning to operate it a little bit more precisely to get the best out of it, this bike is an almost perfect option for that. So what do you guys think of the Sinnis GPX 125? I'd love to know, so leave your comments down below. I do read them all. We've had some great ones coming in, so keep them coming. For me, I think it's a great option as an introduction to supersport riding on the road. You can chase the red lines on this without breaking the speed limit. There's no scary power bands or anything. It's easy to ride, easy to manage. It's brand new for 2022 and comes with a 2-year warranty. So you could pick one of these up, have some fun on it, move on to something larger on the other side, and thanks to the budget price, have a bit more change in your pocket when you do. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you found this video at all helpful or entertaining, do me a favour and hit that thumbs up button. Plenty more content on the channel, feel free to subscribe, ring the bell, and you won't miss another video. I'll see you in the next one.